flashlight. Woo! You should always have a flashlight. It's like required, really, because you have to. Oh, this one has all different kinds of flashes. It does the did you just see like the strobe light effect thing? But you should always have see, strobe light. Woo! Haunted house. But this is probably one of the really difficult things about trucking, is that you have to inspect your vehicle in the middle of the night and you know, make sure everyth's safe when you can barely see things. And then if you can't see it and you miss something, you know, you have other people's lives in your hand. Oh, about the flashlight thing, make sure it's a big, heavy flashlight. This is actually smaller than my normal one, but I gotta go run across to the Loves and go get some batteries for the other one. I got another one that's really big. Oh, can you see? It's flaring now. But trying to walk around and inspect the truck and inspect the trailer in the dark, I think that's a really difficult thing. I have some footage of where I stopped off at a Tyson yesterday that I had a problem where I couldn't, it wasn't uploading from my phone the right way. So I'm gonna add that in this video. And what's important about that is I had a problem with my fifth wheel where the locking jaws did not want to go around the kingpin. And this is something that happens when it's really cold outside. See, I know I keep going in and out of focus with these. This is something that happens when it's really cold outside and you stay in the cold weather for a while. What happens is people use too much grease on their fifth wheels, and then they go underneath of a trailer, and that grease is now underneath the trailer. They drop the trailer, you come underneath of it. So even if your grease is not overwhelming, you get this gooky buildup from trailer after trailer after trailer, and it will harden. And I have pictures where it looks like rocks, and I did a video about this, about you know, I was talking about routines in my video. I wasn't actually trying to teach about dropping hooks. I was talking about getting into the habits of routines, and I was saying I do drops in a certain way, like I lower the landing gear, then I pull the pin, and then I disconnect the hoses, and when I do it the other way, I go back. And I got comments of, well, don't you do a tug test? Yes, but I wasn't actually trying to teach the drop and hook with that. I was trying to talk to you about routines. So one of the commenters said, well, if you do a tug test, then you'll never drop a trailer. And I got news for you, that's not true. That's not true. You can do a tug test and everything feels fine, and you can still drop a trailer. And it just could have happened to me yesterday. Okay? And this is something that comes with experience. And this is something that happened to me both with this particular 2020 International and my 2016 Cascadia. Okay? The locking jaws have a spring mechanism in them. And when it gets cold out and the gook and the grease harden, you got some that's like real sticky like honey in there, and you get some that's hardened, and it can block the spring mechanism in your fifth wheel. So your locking jaws might look like they're okay, they might feel like they're okay, and then you drive another foot and then all of a sudden you lost your trailer. This is something that, it's amazing that I never seen anybody, you You know, it's the third time it happened to me in 4 years. But I understood what the problem was yesterday because it already happened to me before. So when that happens, I have some videos I'm going to clip up. What you need to do is you got to get inside there and clean out the grease from the pin, from the spring. And it's disgusting. I always get grease all over me. I wound up getting like a pole, like a mop type of thing that I have, like a pole that I put a brush on the end, and I should have showed that in the video and I didn't, but I have it to be able to go in and clean that. Now if you get to a plant and you can't hook up and you can't reach it, you can get a power washer at a truck wash to go and squirt it out and get it out, especially if they use warm water, because it'll like melt that hardness and it'll just like shoot out all that rock type of stuff. But I'm gonna keep walking around because before I turned the camera on, I did like you know, lift the hood and all that stuff. I'm not gonna do all that stuff with you on the thing. Maybe during the day, one of these days I will, but I didn't. Honestly, I walked around, I was looking for certain stuff. Like I just said, I get in routines, and I sort of do like a more preliminary thing, and then I do a more thorough thing up front, and then I do a more thorough thing in the back, and then I do another preliminary where I just kind of walk around, because you know, you're risking your life. You're risking your life when you choose to be out here, but you're risking the lives of everybody else too. And when you're overconfident and when you're overconfident and you think that you're too good to make a mistake and you get lazy, that's when somebody's gonna get hurt. That's when when you're gonna kill somebody. You know, there's something, always look for your mud flaps. People overlook mud flaps all the time. They do, and I don't understand that. But make sure your lights are good. One of the reasons why I came back here was because I didn't look for, I don't remember if I looked at the license plate light. Okay? If your license plate light is out, you will get pulled over. And it's amazing to me how many drivers will look for mud flaps, they'll look for all the other lights, and they don't look for the license plate light. And you know, that's something that I got in the habit of always looking for after one of my friends got a ticket. Always learn from somebody else's mistakes. And I'll tell you, when I was new, you know, you don't know what you're really looking for. You know what you're told to look for, but you don't always know what it looks like. And I'm gonna show you, like, well, it's not really on this seal. When we do the wheels, they say, you know, not cracked, bent, or broken, not leaking, and they tell you, oh, you can leak oil, right? Well, check this out. I don't know if you can see because of how dark it is, but there is a ring of sweat that gets, like this one. How about that one? I don't know if you can tell. It's lighter here, but darker back there. So this is light gray, and it's dark back there. Lighter here, darker back there. And so as a new driver, I was like, oh my God, I'm leaking. Oh my God, what do I do? And, you know, and then I turned around and I looked at the trailer next to me, and it was doing it too. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And I'll say, I'm sorry. making too much noise? Am I making too much noise for you?
Are you making a YouTube video?
Yeah, I am.
Really?
Yeah. You want to be on camera?
What's your channel?
It's called Trucking Along with Kirsty.
Trucking Along with Kirsty?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw you over there. I was like, that's a YouTuber.
Yeah. Well, I got a question for you. What's your name first off?
John.
All right, John, guess what? You're on camera. I just want to ask you, what do you think about women truckers, and like, do you worry about crime out on the road? Like, so many people tell me that women should be out here because it's dangerous.
Women can be out here just the same as men.
And they could suffer from
Everything
crime just like a man could, exactly. But like, you know, we're all lined up next to each other, and my theory is that we actually protect each other better than our neighbors at home. Because if you're at home and you scream, nobody's hearing you. Okay? You know, if I screamed, I really think that any one of these trucks would jump out and start, like, at least see what was up.
Yeah.
They're gonna, and now you're wearing your safety jacket, and I was telling my audience before, I always do that because guess what? If I get tackled over there in the dark and you see the yellow, even if you don't see the guy on top of me, you're gonna at least see somebody flailing. You're gonna come at least inspect, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See what's going on, or at least watch it for a little bit. to see what's going on. I mean, it could be just two guys, you know, going at it.
But you just walked up to me and you didn't think anything of me being a woman on the road. It's not strange, right? You guys are all used to it now.
Yeah.
All right.
I see women all the time on the road.
So how do you feel about your company?
My company's good.
Yeah. What's the hardest thing about trucking for you?
Not a whole lot. Probably.
Not a whole lot.
I'm a flatbedder, so.
Oh man, flatbedders are special. You guys endure so much. So, is there anything else you want to say to anybody new coming out on the road? Tips, tricks, advice?
Just do it.
Just do it. Just do it.
Get with a company. I tell everybody, get with like a first-time company, Swift, some crap like that. You know, we make
some crap like that. He says to me at a prime truck. Really?
Prime's one of those companies too, just like Swift.
Yeah, he's saying Prime some crap like that. Thanks, dude.
All those big companies like that to start out.
Yeah.
Once you get your experience, if you want to stay with them, you stay with them. Yeah. I started out with Western Express.
There you go.
Western Express is like the Swift of flatbed.
Yes, I hear a lot about them.
I did 2 years with them. I was a trainer with them for a year. From there, I went to P&S, did 2.5 years with P&S, and now I'm over at Montgomery Transportation.
They're treating you good?
Yeah.
Good. Good. I'm glad. So, are you you own your truck? You lease? You company driver?
Company driver.
So, what do you think about leasing and buying and all that good stuff?
Depends on what the company is and what it offers, but for the most part,
do you have plans to lease or own?
I haven't taken that plunge yet.
How long you been driving?
5 years commercially.
5 years.
6 years in the Army.
There you go, guys. Oh, and thank you so much for your service. I appreciate it. You have a good day. We got to get going because it's going to start snowing, and I'm headed to Michigan. Damn it!
I'm heading up to Illinois.
Oh well. Well, you be careful. Thank you for your time. Hey guys. Well, after that little interview this morning, which was in Kentucky, I drove through Kentucky. I am in Indiana. I decided to stop for a 30-minute break. I don't know, can you see? It's actually flurrying. I drove through some parts that were like whiteout conditions, but it's not sticking to the ground. And I wanted to point something out. When you stay at these type of truck stops, because I stopped for my 30-minute break, and yeah, okay, look, you can see I'm a little crooked. It doesn't matter how long I drive, I always wind up with my truck to the right, to our left. but it's just even when I back indoors, when I'll be completely straight. But what I wanted to point out is, like, when you come to places like this, and a lot of times there's no bumper. So when you're backing up, especially in the dark, make sure you get out and look, because you need to know if there's a ravine. There is a place down. See, that's actually like a ditch. If you go back down too far in some of these places, you won't even know it. You're rolling right down the ditch. There's a place in Oklahoma that I do park there from time to time. And it had a situation like that, but it was a really steep one. Somebody backed up and went right down the back because he didn't even bother to see. And our marker lights on the end of the trailer will help guide you and determine if the person next to you has marker lights on. Try to keep your lights even with them, and then you'll know you're not going back too far. Of course, make sure that you got out and looked to make sure they're not idiots, because you don't want to go down too far. Hopefully the whole thing won't just cave in. But this is a country mark, as you can see behind me, and it has enough for about 7-8 trucks. And you know, I'm gonna go take a look in the store. A lot of these stores that I was trying to go into, they won't let me in there with the camera. So I'm gonna go for a little pit stop and then check out the store, because when you come to some of these smaller places, some of them have really nice, almost like grocery stores inside. When you go to Quick Trips have some really nice variety. So when you're out here for a while and you see the same type of stuff at TA and Flying J and all that, sometimes it's really nice to come into these little places. And you know, during the day it was really easy. It's a straight line back again, just like that other place I stopped at yesterday. Now the weather is starting to get bad as I go north. So you want, as you're driving and you're doing your routing and your trip planning, like right now, I would be contemplating, you know, by the time I get up north, because I still got to go around Indianapolis and get up to Michigan, by the time I stop at the end of the day, is there going to be parking? If the weather's bad, are people already going to be shutting down? So one of the things that you want to do is keep an eye on the phone apps. If you get Flying J or TA Petro phone apps, you could do the reserved parking spaces. They will actually tell you how many spaces they have total that are reserved and how many that are available. So if you check that periodically through the day, it's going to give you an idea of whether or not the place is filling up. And then you can make a decision. Do you want to pay for the parking, or do you want to park here? A lot of new people don't realize I still have about 6 hours of driving left to do. I think it's only like 2 o'clock right now. I could shut down right now at 2 o'clock, get my 10-hour break at midnight, and then I would still have plenty of time to go make it for my delivery in the morning. Or, you know, what most people, you know, what we're trained to do, what our instincts to do as truck drivers is to run it hard as fast as we can and get as close to the customer as possible, because you never know when you're going to wind up with, you know, flat tires or traffic accidents and things like that. But when you're new, it's the parking that you're worried about. This customer does not have parking. And the closer I get to Detroit, the more unsafe it would be. Like we're talking about unsafe in the other videos and in the comments. You know, these are things you take into consideration. You're not going to lose the hours that you don't drive today. You just wind up taking the break earlier, so you wind up starting your next clock earlier. So sometimes it's smarter to shut down earlier. Especially like if you only had, say, if I only had 3 hours on my clock right now, there's no point for me to keep driving, because by the time I get up there, like I'm only going to be wind up being able to get to Indianapolis. Indianapolis is going to be packed by the time I get there. I don't park within 50 miles of a city unless I use my points for reserve parking that I talked about in the last video. And if you didn't watch that video, then please go back and watch that. I can click it up above. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you. This is my Prime jacket. See, it's got Kiersey on it. This jacket is from the 2-year safe driving reward. It is so warm. I don't know if you can see, but it's got like, I don't know, what is it? Some kind of fairy stuff inside. Actually, it even has a little bit of my cat's hairs. I guess I gotta go take a lint brush to that. But there was something I wanted to tell you, and I forget. But inside this store, it's really a cute place. When I go to edit, I'll figure out what the exit number was and let you know, because this is actually a really nice place. It's got a variety. It had pizza and chicken and all different kinds of sandwiches that sometimes you don't get at the other stores. It's got a little sit-down area in it. The people are really nice, and the food seems like it's really fresh and warm. So now I'm gonna get moving. Bye. Hi guys, real quick before anybody comes up behind me, I wanted to show you this type of parking lot. You see where you're facing each other, those trucks in the background? Okay, those are the kinds of parking lots that I don't go into. I don't park here because it's so narrow between the two lanes that you basically have to do like a 90-degree alley dock. And that's unnecessary risk. So I just wanted to see how difficult it can be trying to back into these places. I mean, and people are walking around, and there's more trucks that are trying to get in past him. So now he's stressed trying to back in with trucks coming in past him. So it can be stressful. And I don't take unnecessary risks. That's how I can be out here. That's how I can be out here without accidents. No unnecessary risks. And I did put anti-gel in. The snow is just flurrying. It didn't really get bad, which is good, but it's still kind of windy. Like, look, all the hair again. And I am going to be getting out of here and hoping I'm gonna go park somewhere. So, see you in a bit.